Good afternoon, everyone. If I can get your attention. So glad to see everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the refreshments. Hope everyone has gotten something to eat, and it's so lovely to see such a lovely crowd here. We are here for our 53rd Charter Day celebration. I am Michelle Banks, and I will be your MC this afternoon. Now, today we have gathered to celebrate and recognize 5 remarkable deaf individuals who have made enormous contributions to our community through their hard work, their dedication, their commitment to community service, in the arts, in law, in education, in technology, and in our community. Now, Galloway University is actually celebrating a birthday this year, 160 years. We have been here on Kendall Green. Imagine that, 160 years ago, the United States presidents, Abraham Lincoln, signed our charter and we came into being. That was in 1864, and 160 years later, we're still going strong. We are still here, the doors are still open, and we hope to be celebrating another 160 years moving forward. Again, we have 5 deaf honorees this afternoon that we're celebrating. And I can remember that I was one of them in 2017. Thank you. I received the Laurent Claire Award for my contributions in the area of theater arts as a BIPOC deaf community member. And I was sitting right here at this table. I remember getting up on this stage. And today I'm the MC, which is a little bit of a different role, but I am certainly inspired, and I thank you for asking me to be the MC for this very unique event. I'm so happy to be here with you this afternoon. There's so much joy in the room. Now, without further ado, I don't want to prolong my remarks, we'll go ahead and continue with the program. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the GUAA President, Letujija Alara. Please give him a warm welcome. Oh, and if I may add, I do want to give us a reminder that when you come to the stage to give your remarks, remember to stand on the X. X marks the spot because we are videotaping for the Gallaudet archives. And so when you come to the stage, please be sure to stand on the X. All right? Mr. Alara.
Greetings and hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful day, on this very special day. Isn't it very cool and welcoming outside? Well, I guess it depends on how you feel. If it's too cold, but it is definitely a beautiful day. The annual Charter Day aims to recognize and to celebrate honorees and their dedication to the deaf community. Each honoree has a story and a purpose. What they have done in order to make a difference. And so we desire to learn from each and every one of them. Again, we would like to emphasize and honor the differences made in the community. And so we look forward to learning more about them and each honorees impact. Why are you all so quiet? As I mentioned, we look forward to learning a bit more about honorees' impact as well as their work. And so I want to go ahead and recognize and thank the Clare Cultural Committee in order for making today possible. If you all enjoy the event, you know exactly who to thank. We would like to ask the GUAA board members to please stand. And representing the GUAA organization at large, we would like to congratulate all of our honorees. And we have a very exciting evening to look forward to. Thank you so much, and we look forward to learning more.
Thank you, President Alara, for those remarks and recognizing our recipients this afternoon. We each have a story to tell, and I know that I am a storyteller. There is a story that can be told through our work. I certainly add my commendations to President Alara's remarks. The next person to come to the stage is our Clare Cultural Committee Chair, Gabriel Davis. Please join us on the stage. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon to our Charter Day event. It's so nice to see you all joining us. And I'm so pleased that you're here to be with us. Again, I am Gabrielle Davis. I'm the Clare Cultural Committee Chair. And the CCC Committee, again, the Clare Cultural Committee, is a committee that has 6 members. Only 3 are here with us today, and I would like those members to please stand at this time. They're in dark blue t-shirts, so that's how you can recognize them. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, the Clare Cultural Committee, we actually have on these shirts with our logo on it, so you can recognize us. And I want to let you know that we're so happy that you're here because we are here to recognize GUAA and CCC award recipients, and they deserve this recognition. I'm so excited for the program that we have for you this afternoon. Again, I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Again, our GUAA and CCC recipients. You are all amazing, the contributions you have given, the commitment that you have to our community. You are talented, you are passionate, and you are making an impact on the deaf community. And each and every one of you are such wonderful and exemplary role models. Again, thank you to the GUAA and the CCC. All right, are we ready? Are we ready to honor our 5 individual recipients to receive their award and to learn more about their individual stories? I know I'm ready. Okay, now we will be presenting our first CCC award. And this is the Clare Cultural Committee honorees to recognize an individual. This will be Dr. Michael Schwarz, and this award will be presented by Robert Weinstock. Bob, can you please come to the stage? So first Bob, and then I believe Michael come. Yes, so we will call you to the stage, Michael, in one moment.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And hello to everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to Charter Day, and it is my honor to introduce Dr. Michael Schwarz. I want to present Dr. Michael Schwarz with the award for advocacy. Now, I am a lawyer by trade, and during my first year in law school, I got inducted at the National Center for the Law and the Deaf. It's actually just right around the corner where our building used to be. We were responsible for orienting lawyers through school. So Michael entered school in the fall of '78. And my job was to give him a full explanation of what to expect as a first-year law student. And so, after having my talk with Michael, it was a bit overwhelming, wasn't it? It was a lot to take in. But I have to say that Michael did act well. He did have an acting background. This was from his time in the National Theater for the Deaf. And he was also working with Bernard Gregg, a very famous actor. And I have to say that after meeting Michael, I was very impressed, and I knew to look forward to all of the wonderful things he would do as a lawyer. And so now here we are, 43 years later. I have to say that Michael has absolutely exceeded my expectations. After law school, he went and clerked for a judge. After he became district attorney of New York, he became involved in federal work at the state level as well as with nonprofits. Eventually, he would become a law professor. And I believe he might have been the only deaf law professor in the country. He taught at Syracuse University, and he worked at the school's disability law clinic. I believe that you've been there for over 20 years now. Isn't that right, Michael? Michael does presentations related to law, as well as the law journal. He's made it his life work to focus on people with disabilities, because we know that the need is great, and many lawyers are not fully aware of the issues faced by people with disabilities. And so we see that Michael has helped to fill this great need. Michael is an occasional guest on the Daily Moth. With Alex, the host of the Daily Moth. And so, Alex is also a young alumni from Galloway, and so he is able to explain complex legal topics in very easy to understand ASL. Now, Michael didn't just stop there. He continued to go to school, and he received an advanced law degree as well as his Ph.D. Michael has never ceased studying because he is truly a scholar. A scholar along with devoted husband and father, of course. And so I want to say congratulations, Michael. It is our honor for you to join us today, and it is my honor to present you with this award. Please come to the stage.
Very proud to award the 2024 Advocacy Award to Mr. Schwarz. Congratulations. And so, no, that's yours to keep. Let's take the photo. One more photo. It really is yours, but you can give your remarks.
I'm very moved. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Bob. It was very touching. This award is such an honor. When I look back on my career over the last 50 years, I performed on 3 separate stages. The first was as an actor with the National Theater of the Deaf. Second stage was as a lawyer in the courtroom. And the third stage was as a law professor in the classroom. So the thread running along through those 3 is the idea of educating, teaching, inspiring, challenging, transforming others. My role model over those 50 years is a man who many of you know very well, Bernard Bragg, known by the world as BB. Bernard taught me, he challenged me, inspired me, got angry with me. He was there every step of the way along my journey as an actor, as a lawyer, and a professor. Bernard challenged me to become a better teacher and a better person. This award is for him too. Thank you.
Wow, thank you and congratulations, Mr. Schwarz. Dr. Schwarz, congratulations. Now, our next CC award is in art, and it recognizes the following individual: YiQiao Wang. Now, the individual who will be presenting this award is Melissa Mouse-Coon. And so, Melissa, if you can come to the stage. Oh, that's right. My bad. We actually have Melissa's remarks on video, and so we shall look to the screens for the remarks.
This is Melissa. Hello, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Yi. You absolutely are deserving of this momentous honor for all of the work that you've done, as well as for all the work you have yet to do. I am so proud of you, and I am thrilled that you are finally being spotlit and recognized. I want to go and just take a moment just to speak on Yi's work and experiences, as well as the many contributions to the community, the deaf community, as well as the wider community. Yi has had an incredible impact all through the arts. Yi was born in Beijing, China. They attended the School for the Deaf in Beijing. It was a bilingual school. After their schooling, they decided to attend the US in order to receive a degree in the arts. They came to Galloway, where they earned their bachelor's. And at that moment, their skills were already being recognized. After receiving their BA, they received their MFA from the Savannah School for the Arts, one of the top schools in the United States. I met him while they were attending that school, and at that moment I was working on my story app project. In that moment I knew that I would need a deaf artist. Everyone that I reached out to pointed me back to you, and so I reached out to them, engaged with them, and they were so easy to deal with. So they immediately came up with several beautiful ideas that I had to incorporate. One particular character, while we were in development, I thought that that character needed a particular trait. The character's name was Mabo. It was actually one of the first characters that was developed as a part of the storybook app. And my artist for that app was Yi. The title for that book was the GUAA, which the main character was Mabo. And I have to say that myself, along with the community and deaf children everywhere, have so much thanks to give to Yi for the gift of Mabo. The world that Yi built with Mabo, that they absolutely imagined, was brought to life in the storybook app. Now, Yi has amazing skills as an artist, an incredible imagination, and the depth of their delivery with their design and their details, as well as the multitude of choices, really shows up in all of their planning and design. I can give you a particular example. Maybe the first thing that you might notice about Mabo is the fact that they're very colorful. But what you don't realize is that the character was designed without ears. Yi had a particular perspective on that. Mabo is deaf. What do they need ears for? They're going to be a visual character that sees life through sign language, and so we don't need the ears. And so I believe that was a wonderful incorporation of this character and our deaf culture. So if you take a look at their art, you will actually notice many other hidden details that you kept within all of their designs. And so I have to say that I'm a big fan of all of her work. And Yi was also responsible for painting several murals in DC, as well as in Minnesota. Their murals are absolutely beautiful and well recognized because one of them is located on 8th Street by the Simon Starbucks. They incorporated sign language into their design, and within the NOMA DC area, there's a corridor where people frequently transit, and they can see a variety of murals, including Yi's. They can see DC incorporated into a signing mural, and it is absolutely beautiful. I believe that Yi brought a wealth of experiences, wealth of culture into their art. And so I have to say thank you to Yi for all of the work you've done in breaking through and continuing to push the envelope with representation worldwide. And so now we have tiny seeds planted by Yi that are being noticed by the hearing world at large. And these are absolutely important seeds and footprints laid by Yi. So once again, I have to say that this award is well deserved. This is a fantastic honor, and I believe that each and every one of us is incredibly fortunate to be able to have experienced Yi's gift of art. All through many forms, through the storybook app, through the murals, through their paintings, as well as their various publications, including their various animations. And so I think that Yi is a fantastic artist, and an artist that we are glad to know during our time. So Yi, congratulations and thank you.
Please join me in welcoming Yi to the stage to present her award. Thank you everyone. The Clare Cultural Committee is very proud to present you with this award in art for your tremendous work. We are extremely proud of you and we are happy to recognize your work. Would you like to make any remarks at this time? Well, I would like to thank the Clare Center Cultural Committee and particularly Melissa Mouse-Kuhn for recommending me for this honor. Now, receiving this award is so very special to me because it means that I am being recognized, and this is a milestone for me today. Looking back to 2005, that was when I came to the United States with no English. I was not fluent in English at that time. I can remember my father telling me before my flight, again, he did not sign, and so he communicated with me though, and what he said was he kind of like just gave me some hugs and kisses before I left, and the last thing he said to me was, use your hands to make the world when you get to America. And I took that advice, again, knowing no English. I arrived here to the United States in 2005, and I've been here ever since. And look where I am today through hard work and perseverance. And so, thank you. I'm also very happy because receiving this award, my dad is still living in China. And so this evening, I'm going to share the good news with my parents. We will connect this evening, and I'll be able to share this award with them. Now, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the signing Starbucks opportunity that I got to paint that mural. And again, that was because of my father. My father would tell me, you know, when we would take the Metro Express, you all know the DC Metro Express, and there used to be a newspaper called the Express that you would get on the Metro. And so I remember, this was probably around 2005, looking at that newspaper, and there was some good news there. I told my dad, I said, Dad, Starbucks is hiring 25 deaf employees. And my dad said, wow, at 18, things really started to take off, and it was all because of my dad. So thank you. Congratulations, Yi. Absolutely beautiful story. Congratulations. Moving on to our next award recipient. Our next award is the GUAA Advocacy and Social Justice Award in honor of a very special individual, Gertrude Scott Galloway. The honoree is Dr. Christian Vogler. Our GUAA board member, Thelma Schroeder, will present his award. Okay, X marks the spot. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the program thus far. How are we doing? All right. I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of Gertrude Scott Galloway, also known as Gertie. This was her name sign. She was a trailblazer. She was a relentless advocate for social justice, for deaf children, for women, and for many different causes. And she did not stop until she attained her goals. And so it is with Dr. Christian Vogler, who is receiving our Advocacy for Social Justice Award in Gertie's name. Dr. Vogler was from Germany. And he came to the U.S. to attend graduate school in computer science at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Since then, he did not return to Germany, but he has stayed here in the U.S. He has been involved in technology and telecommunications for his entire career. Here at Galloway, he is actually the director of the Technology Access Program, otherwise known as TAP. And in his work, he has actually been able to create and bring in to the university functional equivalency, looking at universal design, educating industry leaders, engineers, professionals, and end users. Most recently, he actually led a large-scale beta testing program for Google Live Transcribe, which is an Android application that has been downloaded over 1 billion times. That definitely deserves a round of applause. And through his work here at Galloway University, he has done so very much. He has brought in millions of dollars. And so thank you, Dr. Vogler, for your acumen in that regard. He interfaces with government and industry. He is a familiar face, shall we say, on Capitol Hill and at the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, and other federal agencies. They all know Dr. Vogler. His work has made the world a better place for all of us. For all of this and more, we are pleased to present Dr. Christian Vogler with this year's 2024 GUAA Advocacy and Social Justice Award in honor of Gertrude Scott Galloway. Our dear Gertie. Dr. Vogler, please come and join us on stage to receive your award.
you so much for that kind introduction. And thank you. And so on behalf of the GUAA, the Galloway University Alumni Association, and the community at large, we wish to congratulate you in honor of the work you have done for our community. Pose for the picture. And I will go ahead and hold this for you. Thank you, and thank you. Well, I have to say that this is a humbling honor. And when I look at the person who Gertrude was, as well as the previous honorees, I have to say that Gertrude herself was a powerful woman, and it's not easy to attempt to fill her shoes. And so now what I'm looking for is a connection. And so I found two different connections that I would go ahead and relate to you now. And so the first connection made here was actually my research group. It was the Technology Access Program, known as the TAP program. I did not establish the group myself, but really that was another individual that did. After that individual retired, then the role transitioned over to me. That original person was Judy Harkins. Now, Gertie was the one who mentored Ms. Harkins, and so through them, they are connected to me. Now, that is one connection. My other connection is a professional connection that represents my philosophy. I found a video on YouTube, and this video is actually an interview with Gertrude. The video is titled The Pearls. And in that video, the question is asked: what is your favorite memory as your time as the NAD president? And so the answer was fighting CBS, the television company, from 1980 until 1992. And thanks to that fight is why we have closed captions on television, because at the time, CBS refused to provide closed captioning. CBS was unhappy with the technology at the time, and so they thought they could actually improve upon the technology, but they kept putting that off. The community, as well as Gertie, would not accept closed captioning later. They wanted closed captioning now. CBS would continue to ignore the community until they protested. This protest was led by Gertie, and it took place all over the country. Ultimately, it was successful, and CBS eventually would provide closed captioning. And so what we learned from that was a very important lesson that now I apply. And so on the topic of communication access, you must collaborate with the community. You cannot work against them. And so that is the philosophy I've applied to my own work, where I have developed brand new technology, but again, always in partnership with the deaf community, and then never against them. Because everything that I owe to the community. Everything that I am and that I have, I owe to the community. Because of that, we have achieved a greater level of communication access.
It's so important to collaborate with the community. Thank you, Dr. Vogler, and congratulations to you. Our next award is our Outstanding Young Alumnus Award. The honoree is Jeremy Smith. And at this time will ask Cheryl Galt to come to the stage to present his award. So Cheryl, if you're here in the building with us, would you please make your way to the front? Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheryl Galt, and I'm the Office Program Coordinator at the Northern Virginia Resource Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and it's located in Oakton, Virginia. Jeremy Smith joined NVRC as a board member in 2018. And this is your name sign, right? Jeremy was very active and supportive and participating in social and educational events, and he always volunteered his time, his skills to support the mission of the office. One example at NVRC is we have ASL classes, and he would come and help and give feedback to students, provide sign language lessons. Jeremy also worked to expand opportunities for others to learn sign language through organizing and promoting ASL social interactions in the community, hosting ASL events and ASL socials every month. He shares information on disabilities, disability rights, and supports opportunities for communication access, as well as including everyone in community life. Jeremy's recognition today is for his many achievements in the community, especially in social media, looking towards Deaf Plus advocacy. There has been a clip of Jeremy's on social media, and we want to share that with you now. I want to bring to the stage Jeremy Smith. Congratulations, Jeremy.
Thank you so much.
Jeremy, congratulations on being our outstanding young alumnus. We, on behalf of the Galloway University Alumni Association and the board, are so very proud of you and your tireless efforts for the Deaf Plus community. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you don't mind lowering that for me, please. I'll go ahead and make sure that I don't roll off the stage now. Really, again, I just want to go ahead and express, I feel so honored and thank you both so much, especially through all of your leadership and all of the ways that you have supported me throughout. I also want to go ahead and say thank you to the GUAA, as well as recognizing what an honor it is to receive this award. The last person that I would like to go ahead and thank and recognize is someone that's very important, and that's Dr. Beth Benedict. And Dr. Benedict believed in me and encouraged me to continue through university. So I just want to share a brief story about myself as well as my life here on campus. It's been about 10 years from the time that I spent about 10 years here on campus at Galloway, from the time I was at MSST until the time I became a Galloway student. And looking back on that time, I remember my very, very first night at the dorm at MSST. I was in bed, the room was dark, and I have to say that I missed my family. I missed my dog. I missed everything about home. So while I was feeling homesick, I approached the MSSD staff and I told them, I want to go home, I'm done. The staff member, of course, encouraged me to give it a little bit of time, that I would eventually learn and I would eventually thrive here. And so here I am, looking back on that day, and that staff member was right. It did take time. It took a little bit of learning, it took a little bit of growing, and it took a little bit of support, as well as believing in myself. So I would love to say that I love the deaf culture. I made lifelong friends here in the community, and I've made it a point to be involved with advocacy. So previously, I was a president of an organization called D-Star that was focused on advocacy for different individuals. And while I was the president, I knew that I didn't want to stop there, but I wanted to continue my work of supporting the Deaf Plus community. And so after I graduated, I have to say, once again, here I am. And all of that started from a single seed. And since that seed has started to grow over the years, where now I'm able to go ahead and use social media to the end of advocating and educating folks on issues that Deaf Plus individuals face. So I want to say thank you to Galloway. And in closing, I want to say thank you to the GUAA for the award, as well as for the deaf community at large, because I'm sure that this is something that we can share in that community as well as the Deaf Plus community. Thank you so much.
Jeremy, congratulations. Once again, congratulations. I actually remember you when you were an MSSD student because I was working in the dorms. And so I'm just so very proud of you today. Thank you for your commitment to the Deaf Plus community. Our next award, and this is last, the last award we will be giving, but certainly not the least, for our program this afternoon. Again, This is the GUAA Service Award, Service to Others Award, in honor of Pauline Peikoff. The honoree is Lisa McNiven. It will be presented by Chad LeBlanc. So Chad, please come to the stage.
Thank you so much for that. And good afternoon, everyone. Galloway University, alumni, faculty, students, as well as the Charter Day Awards Committee. So I work in Highland Plaza in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that is a building focused on serving the deaf community. And so now, I have to say, Lisa, what the heck are you doing here? Or I'm wondering, Lisa's wondering what the heck I'm doing here. I'm sorry to crash your party. You should have taken me with you. But I kid. Really today, I have to just recognize what an amazing person Lisa is. She has an abundance of patience. She is generous and steadfast in her commitment. Say that without Lisa, the New Mexico deaf community would not be where it is today. So people of New Mexico, deaf, blind, hard of hearing, as well as other individuals with disabilities, have to honor Lisa because we are truly blessed to have her help make our dreams come true. Lisa is an absolute treasure to our community. And really, I can't imagine what that community would look like without her. 10 years ago, when I had first moved to New Mexico, it was a fresh start. And I wasn't sure what to do with my life until I met this special individual. Immediately, I learned what my purpose was. And it was to continue serving the deaf community. I would continue that work with Lisa for the next 10 years. So we continue to support one another during our long journeys, sharing tears, struggles, and many frustrations, but still we persevered, and I am impressed with the work I saw Lisa do. I have to say that Lisa fought very hard in order to make all of our projects and this dream a reality. And there's one story that I would like to share about Lisa. So having just taken over the land in order to build the Highland Plaza, we were invited to speak at an association meeting, and there we rejected the red shirts group. Excuse me, we were rejected by the red shirts group. It seems that they did not have a desire for a community center to be built there, but Lisa persisted. Even in the face of this opposition, she rolled up her sleeves and continued to work. After that point, everything started to fall in place for us, and we finally started seeing progress. So I have to say that I admire Lisa's persistence in making this dream come true. And after these 10 years, I have to say that I continue to look up to Lisa as my role model. And during those 10 years, I find myself becoming like you, older, have a lot more grays, increasingly tired, and stressed out. But I have to say that I have loved every minute of these 10 years. And even with all of these gray hairs, I still believe this project has truly been worth it. And so Lisa has been like a mother to us, a mother for the Deaf Community Culture Center in New Mexico. She has been the mother of the PAH project. And so there's one more individual that we would like to recognize as the father of that. His name is Bobby Moore.
Congratulations. After listening to Chad's remarks, I want to say congratulations, Lisa. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the flashbacks. I'm Bobby Moore, class of 1975. I've known Lisa longer than Chad has, okay? We've been friends for 30 years. We have aged together. We've grown white hairs together. Lisa graduated in 1989, and right after she graduated from Galloway, she planned to take a road trip to Seattle. But on her way there, she actually decided to take a detour to Oklahoma, where there was a powwow event. Now, at that event, she met some deaf people there, and they told her that Albuquerque, New Mexico, you know, some people, we have different abbreviations for Albuquerque, but born and raised there. So, again, New Mexico, that was the place for a deaf person to apply for a job. And so she took another detour to Albuquerque. And Lisa decided to change her plans and go to Albuquerque instead of Seattle, and she got a job working for the deaf community in Albuquerque. Once she was hired as a case manager, working with the community outreach programs for the deaf, COPD, and this was in 1994. So there, she was actually beginning her new experiences being involved in the deaf community. She was hired by Lynn Marksbury, and with the help of Lynn, Lisa became more familiar and more experienced working with deaf, hard of hearing individuals in Albuquerque and all across the state of New Mexico. Now, as COPD was getting settled in Albuquerque, and we found our permanent office, Lynn, myself, and Lisa, we actually had our first meeting for the DCC, the Deaf Culture Center. And at that time, we called a town hall meeting of the community. And let me tell you, the place was packed. It was standing room, which was the New Mexico Relay Center. From there, the community actually called for and made a decision that they wanted the following. We wanted to establish a deaf club. They wanted help in applying for jobs. They wanted assistance in understanding the paperwork and process with social services, so again, the case manager position. And the fourth identified need was the need for interpreters. So interpreters working in the community, medical interpreters, social services, and other personal needs. So again, after a few months of those meetings, we were meeting at the New Mexico Relay Center. Those meetings continued, and we finally found a permanent home. We continue to meet and gather to plan the future of the deaf community, focused on deaf culture sessions, and that became our home on Pennsylvania. Now, our programs began to grow over time, and then we once again relocated to the Atrium, and that was on Lomas Boulevard. And then in 2007, the DCCN was finally granted nonprofit organization status. So we got our 501c3 status. And Lisa was so elated to be able to, that all that hard work had finally paid off. That was a big year for the deaf community in Albuquerque. And shortly after that, the first board was established, as well as a focus group, with her being behind the wheel as the chairperson of the focus group. We then had to seek information and people to assist in building our new home for the DCCNN. The first design of that building was in the shape of a kiva, which is from the Native American and Indigenous communities, dream catchers. Now, this idea was submitted by a member of the Deaf Community Committee. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have the finances, and we did not receive funding from the federal government to build our location. Now, this wonderful woman, Lisa, did not take no for an answer. That was not a word that was in her vocabulary. And she knew not to give up. And this was all due to Lisa. We eventually found another source of funding and in another location to build our dream. We were going to build the center of our dreams at the Barella community in the southwest area of Albuquerque. Unfortunately, that did not happen because the Barella community did not want us to build the center there. This was a sad time for us, if you recall, wasn't it? But did Lisa give up on our dream? No, she did not. I tell you, she was too stubborn to give up. And so then Lisa tried another avenue and tackled the big players, our senators of New Mexico. She fought hard and got funding for $20,000 to continue pursuing this community's dream of building the DCCNN. Unfortunately, due to a series of misfortunate incidents, we lost the funding. Now, did Lisa give up? No, she didn't. You already know. She was like a dog with a bone. She just wouldn't let it go. And so through her stubbornness and being steadfast, she created a path because she was determined to make this community's dream come true. After several setbacks and challenges, Lisa finally found a developer and a company to work with that had experience working with the deaf community and building other buildings in other countries. And so this decades-long endeavor was finally coming close to being achieved. We had already selected the next location, which was on Central Avenue, near Route 66 and Tramway. We were all but set to start building until another obstacle struck us once again. And it was getting to the point where we were getting tired of it. And as Chad mentioned in his remarks, there was a neighborhood, and they were called the Red Shirts Group. And they were determined to push us out of the way. But did our Lisa give up? No, she did not. This wonderfully stubborn person did not give up. At that point, she was beyond determined that no one could dare to pull that off her decades-long dream. And so after those obstacles and frustrations came to the fore, Lisa shopped for another developer and construction company. And we finally got the Greater Albuquerque Housing Partnership, which was a nonprofit organization. And it was led by a wonderful man by the name of Felipe Raphael. After countless negotiations, we were finally blessed with so much more than we ever dreamed of. We now finally got the space for DC-CNM, a place for individuals of the deaf community to live and thrive together. And so this one woman opened up the door, and now this dream has become reality. And so we started off with a very small deaf club, and now look what we have today. Lisa. We, the New Mexico community, will always love you. We will always be so very grateful to you for everything you have done, for the tireless advocacy that you undertook, for working on our behalf and helping our dream become a reality. And again, congratulations to you for being selected for this award by the GUAA and the Clare Center Cultural Committee for 2024. And by the way, I know the individual who nominated Lisa for this GUAA recognition. So we didn't want you to know that we were coming. This was a big surprise. She did not expect this. And boy, was it hard to not let this secret get out. You know, we didn't want your wife to catch us first. So thank you.
So congratulations to Lisa. On behalf of the GUAA board members, I'd like to present you with this award in honor of Pauline Peikoff. This is in recognition of all of the work that you have done in service to others and your perseverance. Congratulations, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. What a wonderful surprise. And thank you so much, Bobby. This was great. For your speech, Lisa. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa McNiven, and I have to say that it is a wonderful surprise to see my longtime friends here. I absolutely did not expect to see them. I have to say that I am so moved by this. I love my community, and please excuse me if I start to cry. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and shorten my speech because these fellas went a little bit long. And so I have to make sure that I get to the point. So please blame them for my bridge speech, because now I have to speak on my 30 years of work, of fighting and struggling, and I have to say that it has been hard, but I never gave up because I recognized that the community needed a home. Affordable homes are a right for everyone. And so part of the struggle of the community is the fact that they need help. And in fact, every single state should have accessible, affordable home for deaf, hard of hearing, as well as the deaf-blind community. We have to recognize that these communities are likely unable to support themselves, and these struggles are occurring in every one of our home states. And so I hope that it doesn't take another 30 years, but I do believe that those 30 years have been worth it, because what we have now is a 4-story, multi-bedroom unit that is accessible, and it's accessible beyond the minimum requirements as set by the ADA. And so while we have that in Mexico, we have to continue the fight so that everyone can have that. But this wouldn't happen without the community being involved. That is absolutely paramount, that everyone works together to make sure that it happens. Where there are barriers, we have to tear them down. We just have to do it, and we have to make sure that we do make it to that final stretch. Because these apartments are not for me, but they're for the community. And I did have prepared remarks, but now I've gone off script. And I believe that the most important message found within my script is the fact that you are important and that you matter. You matter to the deaf community. And so wherever you are, you have to make sure to include them and to be their voice. Where here at Galloway, we do have a strong sense of language, community, and identity, while the rest of the world, while I grew up without any one of those. And so I went to a hearing school. I was not taught sign language. And the idea behind that was because I might not be able to speak well enough. But I have to say, that's a load of crap. If you can please excuse my language. But again, I think that the point is that my personal upbringing had its own challenges. But I do believe that it's worth it. Because I got to learn about you all, the deaf community, and I was able to make it here at Galloway. While I was at Galloway, I had the opportunity to be a deaf person, where I was able to see deaf leaders. And so there were very few deaf gay community leaders. And so I was able to be involved with a student organization. I was not able to join a sorority or any other Greek organization, but I was a part of the Deaf President Now movement. And so all of that passion for the deaf community, I carried back with me to Mexico in order to create our Deaf Culture Center. And so it took me 30 years to do it, and so I want to say thank you so much for this honor, for this award, and I have to say that I love you all. And I want to go ahead and thank my wife and my son for putting up with me over the years without me being there for dinner, because I have to be involved with all of these various meetings. And so I want to go ahead and thank Bobby, Chad, Lily, James, Jesus, as well as many other individuals, of which there are too many to name. And so thank you to each and every one of them.
Congratulations, Lisa. Congratulations. Your remarks touched my heart. You know, you gave so much effort and energy to the community who needed accessible apartments and places to live. And so thank you for being that pioneer. to the end of our time together. What a remarkable program we've enjoyed this afternoon. Congratulations to each and every recipient. I know your work will continue even after you leave out of the doors today. At this time, I would like to welcome our Galloway University President, Bobby Cordano, to give closing remarks. President Cordano. Well, so I think my closing remarks are actually in my purse there, but that's fine, because I have been inspired by this lovely afternoon. First, happy birthday, Gallaudet. Happy birthday, Gallaudet. 160 years old, April 8th. 160 years, and people have already noted that accomplishment, how very special it is to still be here 160 years later. And do you know also what the other significance of that is? 160? Rebecca is probably the first person to point this out to me. Rebecca, you want to give it to them? I am the 16th president. Correction to the interpretation. Who was the 16th president of the United States of America? And that was Abraham Lincoln. And he signed our charter. And now we are here 160 years later, thanks to the 16th president of America. And so his innovation, and we are now recognizing the bravery of our community, the innovation of our community. And we know that ever since its inception, we have been innovative. We have been creative. You know, Dr. Schwarz talked about how he was mentored by Bernard Bragg. I know I have a story for you as well. Christian Vogler mentioned the 6 degrees of separation or less that we all have. And Christian, you talked about searching for connections. And I did the same. You know, as I thought about my remarks, all of the connections in our community. And I have connections to share with you. I know that Dr. Schwarz talked about law school. And what's interesting about that is that I wrote him when I was thinking about attending law school. And I asked, what should I know? And he wrote me back. And he talked to me about what it meant to go to law school. He supported my decision. He said, do it. Do you remember that? I still have the letter. I'm pretty sure I still have your letter. Thank you for writing me back. Thank you. It was a well-deserved honor that you received today. I'm so happy that you were able to be with us. And then Yi, our artist. Of course, we saw what happened with assigning Starbucks. And we know that you were working with Melissa in the visual language, visual learning, VL2 lab, working with students and families who have been impacted by your art through the Storybook apps. And of course, your mural at the Welcome Center. And so people see your work every day. And we also have your mural that is in the Union Marca Noma district, and that is a destination where people go to take photographs in front of your work. And so, again, this is an example of an international student coming to the United States, knowing no English, not knowing American Sign Language, arriving to Gallaudet, and thriving. Imagine how remarkable and brilliant she must be. And please tell your father thank you when you talk to him this evening. All of those hugs and kisses he gave you, make sure you return them to him. It took courage for your parents to allow you to come to the United States. That's a hard decision to allow our children to travel so far away from us. And so I know that must have been an emotional decision for your entire family, allowing an international deaf person to come to another country to learn. It is a journey, and it is certainly such a beautiful impact you have had on our community. And of course, I want to go back to Michael for a moment. with Bernard Bragg, who shaped your life. I want to tell you, my experience with him was a little bit different because he was my mother's rival. He was my mother's rival. Yes, he was, Mr. Bragg. And they would get into it. I know this was brought up, of course, Lisa, you were here in 1988 with Greg during the Deaf President Now movement. So we have Greg here. Greg serves on our board of trustees currently. But back then, of course, being an SBG leader, and looking at the representation of who showed up, and being able to vote for the majority of rule being by deaf people, and looking at representation in our system. So my mother was a part of women who actually was opposed to that because the minority voices were then oppressed in SBG because of the majority rule system that they had in place at that time. And so they wanted representation within SBG so that those who were voting on the minority position would actually have actual legitimate representation of their voices being recognized. And Bernard Bragg was in the opposition group. He felt a little bit differently about that. And so my mother and Bernard, for the 150th anniversary, my mom was too ill to come, but my mom did a video, and Bernard Bragg was actually there, and so she said, we tricked you because through the parliamentary process, we actually got our way. And Bernard Bragg responded to my mother, and they had this whole little video conversation rehashing their rivalry in their college days during their SBG tenure of service. And so I can tell you a little bit more about that. My mom and Bernard, they were here at the same time. And just thinking about your illustrious career, she actually picked a play that was so well known because, of course, Bernard Bragg was the star, and my mom was behind the scenes working on that play. So there are all these connections in our community. Bernard Bragg and his story and how it can touch every one of us. Dr. Vogler. Dr. Vogler, you talked about your connections to Gertie. Gertie was my mother's roommate, another connection in the room. And I don't know, I have a question for you. We have a lot of Galloway alum. Are you familiar with the poem about the four-leaf clover? Does anyone know that poem about the four-leaf clover? When it talks about the good luck if you find a four-leaf clover, and that was EMG's favorite poem. And there's actually a statue at House 1 of a little girl who has she used to have a four-leaf clover that was included in the statue. But that poem is actually widely distributed during my parents' generation and Gertie's generation, and they would sign these ASL versions of it. But many people don't know that poem now, but I want to bring it back to Galloway. And so there's a funny story for you, Dr. Vogler. This is a celebratory time, and so we're just enjoying one another's company. My mother, again, in 1977, wasn't that big on tattoos. And so my mom at 77, she didn't have any tattoos before then. But in 77, she went to Hawaii with Gertie, and they got four-leaf clover tattoos on their ankles. Both Gertie and my mom, because of this connection to the poem, got four-leaf clovers, and she was 77. So there was something about Gertie, about her passion, her fight, making an indelible mark on our community. And as the president of Gallaudet, I actually see the seeds and benefits of her work. And so thank you, Dr. Vogler, for your dedication to our community as well. As president, I extend our deep gratitude and thanks. Now, we have our young alumnus. Jeremy, you graduated during my first year as president. I came on board in 2016, and I just remember you bringing a perspective that only you could bring. It makes me so very proud to see how you have grown. I've seen you over the years, and I see you making such a broad impact, being able to join and uplift your community because of your wonderful leadership. And I know we're going to see even more from you in the years to come. That story is still being written. And then Lisa. It's not often that I sit at a table where there is a couple of two women. My spouse is a little bit older, but really I appreciate both of you being here today. What I was certainly impressed by was your 30 years of undertaking that fight and what it took to establish what I would call a community hub. We recognize the importance of community hubs here at Gallaudet University. Gallaudet is a community hub. And so to see you build a community hub, it took you 30 years of persistence and persevering. And so this award is unique because Polly's husband, they actually fought for this building, the old gym. And some of the others actually fought with them, right? Do some people know Polly and that fight you all undertook? I see several of you in the room raising your hands, saying that you stood with Polly. There are family members here. Yes, I see a few of you raising your hands. And so this is where we see that we all take up this fight together. And so this award in Polly's honor and her husband working in tandem with her really talks about the efforts of our alumni to build. Now, what was it? Was it Frank? Was it Frank Weathers? Do you remember? Yeah, can you see me okay? Yeah, looking to Dad back there, looking to your dad. Was it Frank Withers? Who built the... Oh. We're asking Greg, and he doesn't remember. It was his dad. But you have received this award, Lisa, in honor of individuals recognizing their activism in bringing people together. And so just watching you, I just extend my heartfelt congratulations to you. And this wouldn't be possible. None of these connections would be possible without GUAA, without the board, without the committee, without your tireless efforts. So thank you for making this amazing day happen. My best to each and every one of you. Thank you, President Cordano, for making those connections in the room. We are now coming to a close. To wrap up our program, I want to call up all 5 honorees. Please take the stage with your awards so that we can have a photo op. Yes, bring your awards with you. Congratulations to each and every one of our honorees. Thank you for all that you do and the great impact that you have on our community. And I thank our audience for coming to celebrate with our honorees, to recognize their wonderful accomplishments. Now, if you would like, please continue to mingle, grab another bite to eat if you would like to do so, and have a good rest of your evening.